Hello, welcome to Asher's Crypt here, and welcome back to Shelved Horror, where I talk about the horror ideas that never saw the light of day. For this Shelved Horror, I will be talking about Blood Buddy. This is what could have been from my favorite horror villain, Chucky. In this video, I'll be going over the original script, the original Don Mancini script for Child's Play that was originally titled Blood Buddy. For those that do not know, our favorite killer doll Chucky could have been a lot different if it hadn't been for some changes to the story. This video was actually supposed to be out a while ago, but for those that do not know, it is not only the anniversary of the Chucky Wanna Play video game Shelved Horror, but it's also my birthday. I turned 23 years old. I was going to originally post a skit today, but that ended up not happening. But I thought no better way to celebrate my birthday than to do a Shelved Horror episode of what could have been for Child's Play. Child's Play was originally going to be titled Blood Buddy, which I did say about a minute ago. And there would be no I in place of the Y like what they do for the Child's Play remake that came out a couple years ago. Because back when this was written, technology wasn't like that. Nonetheless though, let's get into this video. Let's talk about Blood Buddy, what could have been for Child's Play. Don Mancini was a film student junior at UCLA. He wanted to write a dark satire about marketing as his father was in marketing as a job, so he pretty much understood how it all worked. Don Mancini had seen Trilogy of Terror, which has that really creepy Zuni doll, as well as the Twilight Zone's Talking Tina episode, and he looked at those as inspirations for this upcoming script he was going to write. It occurred to him that a talking doll was never actually a fully fledged character at the time. That's what brought him to write Blood Buddy. Don Mancini wrote the script while at film school. It was motivated to turn this into an actual movie by him getting an A. June 1985 was when the original script went out. The title was going to be Batteries Not Included, but had to be changed to Blood Buddy due to Steven Spielberg having already made a movie named Batteries Not Included. Don Mancini's original script was not going to be focused on voodoo at all, but instead, Chucky in this version, or I think in this case, his name was going to be Buddy. And no, I don't think Don Mancini knew about my buddy at the time at all. I believe it was just a coincidence. But Chucky, or Buddy, in this movie was meant to be a manifestation of Andy's imagination, or in short, id. Yeah, you heard that right. The killer doll in Don Mancini's original script was originally meant to go after and kill all the people that Andy felt unexpressed anger towards, as well as the people he felt wronged by. In Blood Buddy, the doll would not be possessed by a serial killer, and all uses of voodoo would not be in Blood Buddy. When voodoo was later added into the film, that would end up becoming Child's Play as a way for Chucky to come alive, and all around the reason for the supernatural elements, Don Mancini wasn't enthusiastic, nor a fan about the change, and actually found it a bit problematic, as Don Mancini feels like it would make killing for Chucky way too easy. Pretty much his argument is that Chucky could use these voodoo dolls, these people, to kill his rivals and get them out of his way. Though I always thought that that would never actually technically make sense for the nature of Chucky, because to be quite frank, I don't think he would take the easy way on anything. I can kind of understand where he's coming from. The rules instead of the voodoo were a bit different. Don Mancini says it best though. The way the rules were, we gradually come to understand that because Chucky is the embodiment of Andy's unconscious, he decides if he kills the kid, then Andy will be asleep forever, and he'll be alive forever. Buddy in the script was described as, quote, being a 2-foot tall, spiky-haired headband-wearing blue-eyed doll, in lime green sweatpants, yellow shirt, red tennis shoes, and lime green socks, featuring a pull string, and was gonna come with a bunch of Buddy brand accessories. In one draft of the script, the good guys were called Play Pals. The dolls originally said, "I love you." A snippet of the script shows a Playboy doll saying, "Hi, I'm Oscar and I love you." I also have a picture of the concept art that David Kirshner made of how Buddy was meant to look. Take a look at this. I think it looks pretty interesting. He has a round head, and all around he looks like a combination between a Cabbage Patch Kid and My Buddy doll. The Cabbage Patch Kids dolls were often a comparison to Chucky that Mancini made. So it's pretty apparent that a lot of inspiration for Chucky came from those Cabbage Patch Kids dolls. They would later get Kevin Yeager on board for this movie, once they got the final concept art of the doll done. I should also mention real quick that I had an artist do a concept art of what he thinks Buddy would look like from this scrap script, like in his own art style. It's a bit different compared to the one by David Kirshner, but it's pretty neat. Take a look at it, it's pretty awesome. You can see the pull string and stuff. It's all around an awesome concept. He even made different variations of this concept art too. I really enjoyed seeing him do his own style for this look of Chucky, or Buddy in this case. The artist that did this concept goes by the name of X-Men on Instagram. If you guys don't know, he has done a lot of my art. A lot of it you can actually see on my merch store, which you should definitely go check that out if you want to rep me in any way. But he also did my new and old shelved horror intro. So definitely go check this dude out, go follow him on Instagram. He's a great artist, and I work with him quite a bit, so definitely check him out. He posts a lot of his art on Instagram, and it's overall really amazing work, and I like the way that he does his art. It's like no other person I see on the internet. He has a very unique art style and the way that he does things. So definitely go follow him. A link will be down in the description below, and I'll even link his YouTube channel, so definitely go follow him. There's a mix of things that were taken from the Bloodbite script and put into the Child's Play script when it was rewritten by Tom Holland, and some stuff that was added to Child's Play and was changed later on. One of these things was actually an idea of John LaFia, which, if you guys do not know, actually lost his life last year. He committed suicide, so rest in peace to him. But he had a different idea in mind for how Chucky would come back to life and the good guy doll body in Child's Play. It actually involved a death row prison inmate being electrocuted on death row, and his spirit going into the doll at the nearby toy factory. This prisoner, of course, is who we know as Charles Lee Ray. Chucky originally could only speak by pulling the string on his back. He only spoke in a childlike voice until his final confrontation with Karen Barkley, where he rips the string out of his back to reveal his natural deep voice. Chucky, or Buddy, was originally meant to strangle Karen Barkley, or try to strangle her completely with the pull string he pulls out of his back. I'm not sure if these were both meant to be in the same scene, but it sounds like one would happen after the other. Originally, Brad Dourif only came on board as Charles Lee Ray, as the voice of the killer doll was actually meant to be done by someone else. They recorded the voice of a woman doing it, adding distorted effects on it. This was inspired by The Exorcist, which also did this technique with great results. So Chucky was originally going to have a girly voice, but for Chucky, however, this did not fit at all. And so they asked Brad Dourif to come back to record the lines of Chucky later on. When they went to Brad Dourif to do this, they were, quote, a little on the desperate side. In the Bloodbite script, there are a lot more scenes with the son and the mother, Andy Barkley and Karen Barkley. It went into more detail about what happened to Andy's father, and why Andy is traumatized and prone to fantasy. And from the looks of it, there would have been scenes with Andy's teacher as well, which were scrapped from the film entirely. Let me read to you guys how one of these conversations go. Exterior, elementary school playground, day. Karen steps through the gate into the playground, stopping to watch several children playing tag under the supervision of their young teacher, Mrs. Waters. Andy sits alone against a fence, staring out at nothing. Karen walks over to the teacher.
Hello, Miss Waters. How's Andy been? Oh, just fine.
Karen turns to look at her son sitting all alone. The sight obviously troubles her. Miss Waters turns kind eyes on her.
It takes time to recover from the death of a parent, Miss Barkley. But that's all he needs. Time.
Karen smiles at her gratefully.
Thanks, Mrs. Waters. I need a little reassurance every now and then.
She walks over to where Andy sits, stopping above him.
Well, hello, champ. Ready to go home now?
Oh my god, I'm so fucking sorry, that was terrible. I not only have a feeling that this teacher was lent over the Child's Play 2 as Miss Kettlewell intentionally, but I have a feeling that this teacher or one of these teachers at this school would have faced Buddy's wrath. It could be this teacher, it could not be this teacher. I really couldn't tell you. But a teacher from the school would definitely be set to die, as Buddy, who is again a part of Andy's imagination, would set out to kill Andy's teacher, babysitter, and his mom, who he secretly resented. So yes, again, pretty much everyone that Andy feels unexpressed rage towards. The babysitter and blood buddy, much like Child's Play, would also be the first kill in the movie. But instead of falling from a really high place in Child's Play, in Blood Buddy, she was actually meant to die from an electric shock in the bathtub, much like Tiffany Valentine before she became a doll bride of Chucky. I forgot to explain how all of this exactly works. How this doll, in a sense, comes to life. The doll Buddy was going to have synthetic blood inside of it, so that if the doll gets cut or the latex breaks due to rough play, the doll bleeds and you'd have to get official Play Pal band-aids. Yeah, I'm not even joking about that. Play Pal band-aids. It would be a way and a tactic for the company to sell more products. It was actually inspired by dolls that actually pee their pants or, in certain cases, pisses their diaper. But anyway, Andy being the lonely kid he is, he would eventually tear the skin of the doll, and then cut his thumb in the doll's thumb, and then mix his blood in the synthetic doll's blood, becoming, in a sense, blood brothers. And then the doll would start to come alive whenever Andy would sleep. Andy, much like Child's Play, would have no father in the script. And the mother Karen, which is the only actual good Karen out there, would also be a single busy at work mother, much like the Child's Play film. This would unfortunately only add to the loneliness of Andy. The mom was originally going to be the advertising executive and the mastermind behind the whole campaign of Play Pals. Another change to the script is instead of an asylum, there was going to be a dentist office. And Buddy was gonna kill the dentist with a drill. You guys might remember me talking about something similar to this in my shelved horror episode about the canceled Mancini Child's Play remake. If you guys have not watched that video, go watch it, you'll learn quite a bit from it. Mancini intended for Blood Buddy to be a lot more satirical than the darker toned Child's Play we actually ended up getting. The original idea to Blood Buddy was to make it more psychological and more ambiguous to who was actually doing the killings, Andy or Chucky, or in this case, Buddy. But producer David Kirshner came up with the idea to make it more upfront, and make it clear for the get-go that the doll was actually alive, because he felt that it was less marketable to make it a psychological manifestation of Andy's rage, rather than a possessed killer doll. A bit ironic considering Mancini meant for the film to be a satire about marketing. 50% of the original script stayed, while 50% of the script was changed. David Kirshner then would go on to find the director that he felt would do this film justice. That person would be Tom Holland. No, not Spider-Man's Tom Holland. Tom Holland, the director, who is well known for directing the cult classic Fright Night. And I would say the rest is history. If you somehow weren't paying attention, let me step it back a bit. The film wasn't cancelled, but it was technically turned into Child's Play, but still having elements of Mancini's original script Blood Buddy in there. Like I said earlier, producer David Kirshner came up with the idea to make it very upfront that the doll was actually alive, because he felt that it was less marketable if the doll was just a psychological manifestation of Andy's rage. So 50% of the script would stay while the rest was subject to change. Producer David Kirshner mixed the idea because he was a relatively new father and suspected that no one would buy a doll with synthetic blood in it, which makes sense. He presented the compelling likeness at pitch meetings as an enticement, and soon multiple studios wanted to make the movie. United Artists was the winner. It brought Tom Holland on to direct and do rewrites with Freddy's Nightmares and Child's Play 2 director John LaFia. Again, rest in peace to him. Was it for the better that these changes and rewrites were done? Let's talk about that. Do I think Blood Play deserved to get shelved and turned into Child's Play? Deserved isn't really the right word I'd use, so let me rephrase it. I think it was needed. Let me explain. The thing about Don Mancini's original piece of work is that it sounded awesome, and I would have loved to see how it would have came out, especially how well Kevin Yeager would translate that really cool concept art of how Buddy was supposed to look, how he would translate this onto the film. And the closest you'll ever get to a film that echoes Don Mancini's original script is a movie by the name of Pinocchio's Revenge. A movie that a lot of people, including myself, have mixed opinions about. Let me know if you want to see a video on Pinocchio's Revenge one day. I'll make one if you guys want to see it. But the reason I feel like these changes had to be made is because all these changes that were made to the script are what shaped Chucky into what he is today. The really massively big horror icon. Not only does Chucky merchandising sell very well, but the character is very iconic, with Brad Dourif voicing him since the very beginning. Seriously man, Brad Dourif made my childhood. I grew up with these movies. I don't know if I'd be the big horror fan I am today without him, honestly. And not to be disrespectful, but I don't think the idea of Buddy would be as iconic as Chucky is today. And I already know, it would have been a one-off film. There would likely be no franchise if they went with Blood Buddy. I think they made a wise call by making the changes that they made. Hell, I wouldn't own the Chucky dolls I own that I love very much. Hell, I probably wouldn't even be here right now. Chucky is a big reason for my love of horror. I wouldn't be the fan I am today without him. And who knows, maybe Don Mancini can bring that old script back in the future. Maybe make a few changes to make it fit modern day. And maybe someday show us his original vision in a separate movie to Chucky. Hell, I think it'd be cool if one of the characters on the Chucky TV show was watching a movie on TV and it was literally just this idea of Blood Buddy, but put into this TV show as an Easter egg. I think that would be pretty cool too. I don't think it's really that likely, but it's just a thought I had. But that's why I felt like the changes from Blood Buddy to Child's Play had to be made, because otherwise we would have never met the iconic killer doll that we all know and love today. The killer doll that me and many others grew up watching. And for other people, the reason why they fear dolls and why they threw their old dolls in the garbage. But that's all for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content, and definitely subscribe to Become a Slasher. All social media links and my merch down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching my shelved horror on the Blood Buddy script. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's a lot of research that went into this, but I'm out of here, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next shelved horror. Don't forget, guys, to keep on slashing.